Hello, everybody. How are you, John?
I'm doing great, Zeev. How are you?
When I'm with you in a face-to-face Zoom, I'm ecstatic. So let me share with people who you are to me. You, to me, you're the leading, but let's just, we'll give you some humbleness here. One of the leading business and leadership experts in the world. You have worked with the biggest companies. You have inspired me personally many, many times. I've read your books. I've seen you speak. I had the very great pleasure of even slightly sharing a stage with you, even though you were completely the main event. But I love what you do.
Thank you. You're
We,
too kind.
I'm honest, like guys, seriously, John is somebody I want to be more like. John is somebody that I look to you as a mentor, even though I don't share it to you too many times. But every time I hear you, it's profound. Every time I hear you, I learn something new, and I want my network to have the same great quality, great value from you.
Thank
So,
you.
John, can you tell us a little bit about you, what you do, or maybe a little bit more of what you used to do before all the world changed on us? But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your past. You have an incredible past.
Well, yeah, how far back do you want me to go? Well, I'll just start in the early part. I was named the CEO of one of the Rockefeller Foundations when I was 26, oversaw projects all over the world. I left there to become a consultant, basically, and I'm in my 28th year now. And I used to travel, as you said, about 200, 220 days a year around the world, doing a lot of training, keynote speaking, a lot of executive coaching, business consulting, things like that. And as you said, from startups all the way to the Fortune 5.
Tell us about a couple of big companies that you've helped. I know there are some incredible stories of some really major conglomerates that you really put on the right track.
I won't say I put him on the right path, but I helped him a lot. I've done a lot of work. I've done work for Apple. I've done work for Microsoft. Did a lot of work for Merrill Lynch, IBM. Let me see, General Electric, and a few others.
You know what I love about you, and that's been a test for me for true people that I want to be more like. You're humble.
Oh, you're kind.
It's never been that I've given you accolades and you're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, well, don't push it so far, but I did help a little bit. I know that you help a lot. Now, John, your entire world has been shifted upside down, correct?
Yeah,
From
yeah.
traveling 220 days per year, from having, I think, the next years and years of booking engagements. Um, Now you're basically in the same boat like a lot of us, and you have to pivot. Can you
Yes.
share with us a little bit of how you're doing that?
Yeah, I went from 220 days a year on the road to zero in about 48 hours. But luckily, I've been doing a lot of executive coaching along the way. I've got, and I don't just work with big companies. I work with a lot of smaller companies, family-owned businesses, which right now I'm doing a lot of coaching in businesses of under 400 employees. And the reason there is you can have so much more impact. I could jump up and down at Microsoft, and I can only impact a small part of the organization. But what we've done now, we did really two major things. Is I've increased my executive coaching to where I'm doing not only the senior executive, but usually their entire team, so everybody's aligned. But then 2 days after everything got shut down, I've already got a build. I have an office with 4 sound stages in it, and I was already doing a lot of video work, but we purchased the very highest end stuff we could to do virtual training. So top cameras, top light. Well, I already had all light and sound and everything. So we've got it on a cart so we can roll it to room from room so it's not redundant. And I've been doing a lot of training, and I won't call it keynote, but work with medium-sized companies that are struggling right now to stay in the game.
So, how has been your experience personally moving from really face to face traveling to the digital world? Can you share with us a little bit?
Yeah, the longest time in my entire career I'd ever been in one city consecutively was 22 days. And I'm now and I'm now looking at 4 or 5 months. It's interesting, and I've heard a lot of people say this. I'm busier than I was before, because before it was fly in, do work for a couple hours, fly back out. And now I'm on the phone almost all day with senior executive CEOs, putting together webinars and stuff. So it's changed my business dramatically, but it's actually become more fun because I get to spend more time with people than just the hour or two or three that I'm normally at an event. And it's actually, I think, increased my connection with my customers and my friends.
Mhm.
And now picking, like you and I, we've talked before, but we've been on a couple of Zoom calls in the last week or two, and I'm sure we'll be on more. That isn't the way it was before. So it's been much easier to connect with people. And I think we're all getting used to this technology. It feels pretty much like we're just talking to each other in the same room.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the best things about this. And I love looking for silver linings. You and I would not, this is probably, I don't know, a second, third Zoom call in the last week. That would not have happened. You would have been traveling. I would have been with clients. We would never have time for this.
Right.
And I agree with you on another point. And tell me if you see this. And I'm going to be very honest because I think it's important. I have been busier, but less profitable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've never worked so hard to, my fees for major speeches were pretty significant, but I gave speeches up to, largest one was 24,000 people. I did a lot. I used to do every month, 5,000 people, 8,000. The fees for that are $20,000 or higher. And that's a very reasonable fee for giving a speech to 10,000 people. Now that's gone away. And executive coaching is still a good income, but it's not nearly as close as being able to make 30,000 bucks a week.
Absolutely. So my time has been flying. I wake up, I don't even understand what's going on, and it's already time to almost go to sleep again. Zoom all the time, call all the time. It's very, very busy. Now, something that I've been doing in my business in order to make sure I keep all of my team and I give as much value for my clients is I've actually lowered prices on some things to basically give more capacity to my clients because I know they're suffering as well.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot more things. We probably lost a good chunk of our business, of our ongoing day-to-day business, but we've gained a good chunk of different types of, especially SEO, content creation, moving events from live to online, webinars, all kinds of really fun things that are very time consuming. But if you compare them, like you said, to a speaking engagement or a 2-3 day workshop in Microsoft, it's very, very different on the pay level.
Well,
But what
the
I'm
neat thing though is that you're getting, at least now when I do webinars, you're getting the exact same content. The content that I teach at Apple or Microsoft or at a smaller business, I always look at it, it's the exact same content. It's just more zeros in the size of the company. Running a multi-billion-dollar company is really not that much different than running a couple of $1 million company. So it's neat to be able to deliver the same level of information and quality and value to 10 people that normally I would have, it would have been 1,000.
So tell me, John, if people want to see, because you have incredible content, the things that you put literally make me smarter. If people want to check out what you do, how you do, where can they go? And we'll put it on the post so everybody can have access to it. But where can they go to access some of these amazing materials that you've put?
Now, obviously, to my website, which is johnspence.com. But on there, I've got a blog. And one of the things with my blog is I don't put anything up unless I think it's meaningful. No fluff, no silly stuff. Just if it isn't something that I find super valuable, I'm not going to put it on any of my, I'm on LinkedIn too. I post a lot of stuff there, but it's only the highest quality I can find.
I love that about you. I love that you really put the things that you think will help people. You're not putting things to promote yourself. You've
Yeah.
never been a self-promoter ever, but you don't need to be because what you do really works. So I love that. Now, let's kind of take this, putting in second gear. Can you give some advice to people such as myself or other people that are starting to come back to work? We have a lot of issues. There is financial, cash flow, employees working from home, working from the office, what services we're going to do. What are the tips you can give to decision makers, executives, of what are the steps they need to do right now?
Okay. And this one, it goes back to, I was coaching a lot of companies when 9/11 happened. And then I had several companies I was coaching and working with them as a consultant executive coach through the Great Recession. And it's much the same now. And there's 4 major things I say. Number one, now is the time to take awesome care of your employees. Give them all the resources, training, help, support, mentoring, coaching, everything they need. And then also tell them how much you appreciate them. give them a lot of genuine, honest, sincere praise, celebrate wins. But now is the time, especially your best people, to really shower them with love and take good care of them and tell them how valuable they are to your company. So number one, take amazing care of your people. Number two, now is the time that your shop has to do the best work it's ever done. Everything that goes out the door must be the highest quality you've ever produced. People are all over the world are cutting budgets, getting rid of vendors, not spending money. If they spend money with you or me or anybody else, they want to look and say, that was amazing. Those people are indispensable. They're just incredible. So that means your people, because you're taking great care of them, you allow them to focus on doing amazing work. Number three is get closer to your customer than you've ever been before. Do Zoom calls, send them text, email, always adding value, not trying to sell. It should be 90% value, 10% sell, but be there as a resource. Even if it's not what your company does, just be there to help. Important idea around this is how you treat your employees and your customers right now. They'll remember that for years. This is when you build trust. This is when you build loyalty. So get really close to your customers to understand their needs, their wants, their fears, to understand how their business runs if you're B2B or what's going on with their family. So close there. Then the last one, and you mentioned this too, Zeev, is keep an eye on your financials, but don't freak out. Look at your financials and say, before you get emotional or something happens, if this number drops to here or that number goes over here or something like that, I'm going to have to make a tough decision. Make the tough decision while you're not emotional, so you don't make a knee-jerk decision and a bad one. So think through, when my numbers get here, I'm going to have to do this. When my numbers are here, I might be able to add more people or whatever it is. But don't try to figure that out when you look at the cash flow and you go, ah! So those are the four big things that I look at.
I love it. Let me just recoup. So one, the first advice is take really good care of your people. Okay, your people are you. Your people are suffering too. They're going through a lot of things. So give them, take care of them, praise them, teach them. Really take care of your employees. That's number one.
Yep.
Number two is focus that the work that you're doing is the highest quality work that you've ever done.
Right.
Focus that, now that you're getting a chance from anybody, especially in this time, what you're providing is above and beyond what you get paid for, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. Then the third one, help me with that one.
That was get really close to your customers.
Yes. Communicate, text, Zoom calls, have a schedule. Reach out once a week to all of your closest or, the people that you actually serve that need you, that need to hear from you, and put it on a schedule, because between you and I love talking. I will sit and talk to my clients all day, but work happens. And push, shove, my team needs me, my client need me. So that stuff usually falls. So put it on the calendar. Have a half an hour, whatever, on a day of a week to actually do it, right? What was number 4, John?
And number 4 was keep an eye on your financials, focus on your financials, but don't let them drive all your decisions.
And I love what you said.
If you do the first 3 really well, number 4 will probably take care of itself.
But I loved what you said, because it's something that I've done early on, before we got the PPP and before, when I was like, oh, okay. So I made a decision. If this happens, then I have to let go of these types of people. If this happens, I have to do this. And I love it. Make the decision in advance, because when you get hit by that slap, you're not going to make the right decision. You're going to make it out of fear or out of anger or out of, all kinds of ways that we don't need to make decisions on. So I love that. Make your decisions in advance. Understand that if it gets to that, that's what you're doing. There's no guessing.
Right.
And then your 5th point?
No, there was only 4.
4.
My 5th point was sort of do the first 3, and you won't have to worry about number 4 as much.
My 5th point, if I can add,
Please.
is create more content. Help people without getting paid. Help people without them being your clients. We've been putting so much content on LinkedIn, especially in all other places during this COVID, and people appreciate it. We actually get business from it. We have people reaching out to us and saying, hey, this is my company. This is my website. What can you do for me?
Right.
Those are things that did not happen before. Okay. We might have had people that wanted to talk to you, but it didn't come like, wow, okay, We know you can help us. How can you do that? And
Yeah.
put those things out there. Show people what you're good at, and don't be afraid to give your special sauce.
Yeah, well, I think I said before, now's the time to be a valuable resource to, give. Don't worry about getting paid. That will happen. We all need money. We all need work. But if you're 90% give and only 10% ask, and it's so much value that, people are just amazed by your generosity, and that you're not wasting their time, that you're giving something that will really help. Like I looked at one of your slide decks yesterday, and I said, I learned more in 5 slides than I learned in reading a couple of books on this topic. That means that every time I see something from you, I'm going to go to it immediately. I want people, when they see my email come in or they see something from LinkedIn with a link, they're going to immediately click on it and go, John always adds value. He doesn't waste my time.
And that's what happens when I get an email from you. I rarely open canned emails at all. I'm in digital marketing. I know how to recognize those things from 15 miles away before they get into my inbox. But you're one of the only ones that I actually open, because I know there's going to be something I like. I know it. And thank you for what you were saying about the LinkedIn, because we're really trying to put everything that we've learned over the last 8 years of having an agency and putting it out there for people to use it. And these are actual real things we're doing. It's not just fluff, like you were saying. It's actual, do this. If you want us to help you, we can, but do this on your own if you want.
Yeah, well, you and I chatted the other day. LinkedIn has been the best business driver for me. That I'm landing clients. I got people that are calling me and saying, I want to work with you. And they're finding me through LinkedIn, looking at my content, reading it, building trust, looking at my profile, looking at some of the other stuff and saying, this guy seems to know what he's doing. And he's always giving good information. Maybe I ought to have a conversation with him.
So I'll end this with a little personal note. You do know what you're doing. You do know what you're saying. If I can tell, everybody saw me probably do these a lot of times, but if I can tell you one thing, everybody that is watching this, I want you to check out John's website, check out John's videos, check out John's books. One of my favorite books, I'm gonna butcher it. I should have looked at before, but Simply Sales, or
Awesomely Simple.
Awesomely
I don't
Simple.
keep my own books on my bookshelf.
And I love your bookshelf. That's one of my dreams. I have a mess room full of books, but I love books. So I love that book. It taught me so much. And I love the simplicity of things. You just want to help people grow. You don't want to sound too smart. I have an issue with people that just do things to sound smart. You do things for the right reason to help people. So John, thank you so much for your time, for your wonderful advice. And everybody, check out John, check out John's videos, books, and website, and we'll put everything on the post. Thank you so much.
My honor, my pleasure.
We'll speak soon, and everybody have a really good week.